Clearly, I had the wrong intro slide up. It said 8 a.m. It is clearly not 8 a.m. It is 9 p.m. Eastern, which means it's the decaf edition, which means you've got your cup. I've got my cup. It's decaf. It means it's time for coffee with the cowbell. Glad you could join me. I'm Ricardo Wilkins, your resident Teams geek, here to chat with you about collaboration, best practices, tips and tricks with Teams and collaboration software in general. So, with that being said, at least on my LinkedIn account, because as always, I'm streaming on multiple platforms. And on LinkedIn, I did put the comment about talking about meeting chat today and why you're currently doing it wrong. So we'll see. However, if you are joining live and you're in the chat, feel free to put any question. I'm happy to pivot for you. As I kind of get myself together here, checking a couple things, and let me go over to my demo environment, which may not be set up right. I will say that, mere minutes before I started, the typical stuff happened where my microphone wasn't working, all that cool stuff. Again, minutes before going live. Luckily, I've fixed it. At least I hope I fixed it and that you can hear me. Okay, I'm gonna assume all is well. If you are out there in chat giving me a thumbs up or something and let me know you can hear me would be good, because I'm not confident. Yeah, it looks okay. So good. Anyway, so let's get into it here. Let me get rid of this. And so yeah, in chat in LinkedIn, I posted kind of a topic of, meeting chat, you're doing it wrong. What do I mean by that? So, meeting chat, whether it's Teams or really any video conferencing platform, there's certainly the audio, the video, but then there is usually on the side, if people choose to use it, the chat for the meeting. Maybe unlike many platforms, because Teams is kind of it's a very comprehensive tool in that, not only is it handling your meetings, but all of your work as well. There's a couple more ways I would say to interact with and use meeting chat in Teams meetings, maybe more so than others, given that meeting chat is something that exists before, during, and after a meeting. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, then hopefully this little demo makes that clear. So in this example here, I put a meeting here, coffee time, and I've invited the administrator to this one. So before the meeting even begins, here's the first thing you're doing wrong with your meeting chat. So the administrator I've got here in a separate Teams window. And so on their calendar, they've got coffee time. And in fact, if I go to the, let's go to this Outlook here since it's already up. If you go to Outlook, it's there. And actually, let's go here. What this user or administrator will also have is a meeting invite to this meeting, right? There's coffee time. Ricardo invited her to the meeting. By clicking on it, I get to see the details. I get to RSVP, all that good stuff. Yeah, let's get out of that. And let's get out of that, all of that. Okay, yes. All right. So here we are, right? The meeting. Now, the thing that the administrator is doing wrong here is so that they're going to be a little late to this meeting, and they're going to do what you do, which is wrong. And I'm being facetious here, but they come to the invite and let's see. And they I should say reply all, and this is going a little slow for me as most demos do. There we go. They reply all. They're going to be a little late, and they reply all. No, I don't want to RSVP. Come on, reply all, and they'll say I'll be running late. They want to running late. They send that to everybody in the meeting to let them know that, and that's nice to let the meeting folks know that you're going to be running late. But this is Teams, and you are a avid Coffee with the Cowbell viewer, and so you know that that's not the way to do it. The way to do it is to come here in the administrator's invite. The meeting is there, and I want to chat with participants. Yes, I know the meeting hasn't started yet. I know the meeting isn't until tomorrow or whatever, but I'm going to come here. I probably wouldn't do it a day before, but I'll come here 5 minutes before the meeting starts and say I'm running late in the chat. Okay? So that when Ricardo here joins the meeting, or might already be in the meeting, there it is there. Okay, that's a lot more useful to me than going back to my email to see that message amongst all the other things in my inbox. So using the fact that the meeting chat exists even before the meeting begins is the right way to do it. If you're not doing that, you're doing it wrong. I'm messing with you, but that's one thing. It's just to know that you can come to meetings and you can chat with participants. And again, that even if the meeting hasn't started, or even if there's no participants in it at that time. And then, of course, while it's going on, so you're still not in the meeting because you're running late. Meanwhile, I am in the meeting, and no problem. And maybe, and other people are in this meeting and they're, chatting up a storm here. The other thing you're doing wrong is assuming that you can't participate or figure out what's going on using the chat, even though you're not there. And so you're on the run, but you've got your team's mobile device. And so you're able to get the chat messages as they come, or even reply, right? So no, you're not in the meeting yet in terms of audio and video, but you are kind of in the meeting by way of having access to the chat and seeing what's going on. So again, this is the administrator's view. I have not joined yet, but I can see the chat. I can see who's in the meeting. I can do all those things even before I join. So I'm using chat to help me, figure out what's going on. I've seen some people use it as a way. I might be double booked. I might actually be in another meeting, but if there's enough chat going on, I can kind of figure out what might be happening. And the other thing that's nice about kind of lurking on chat from a meeting is, depending on what people say, you can kind of gather whether or not that meeting is a good one to join. If I see some chat that looks interesting, I might, switch over if I'm double booked or something like that. So using it, while the meeting's going on. The other thing you're doing wrong is that you are, again, coming into the email. Not this. Let me go. Where was I? You're coming into the email. You're hitting reply all. Let's do that again. Where am I? Come here. You're hitting reply all, and you're putting the agenda right here. And you're sending that out, and that's wrong. It's not wrong, but I mean, the other way you could do that though is again remembering that meeting chat exists before, during, and after the meeting. And so where would be a better place to put the agenda is here. Oops. And actually, I should have hit the format button, but nevertheless, I can go back and edit because I meant to do that so that I can put some bullet points. And now that agenda, when people join, like Ricardo here, is now right there in the meeting chat. I might even want to pin it as well. But again, that meeting chat is there. And in fact, I even do this even if I only know maybe a couple of bullets. So I got 4 in there now. And then as we start getting closer to meeting time, I realize I need a couple more. The post can be edited. I can add more, and everyone sees that on the fly or sees that once they come into the meeting. You can kind of see by pinning it that stays up at the top there for Ricardo here. So when I come in the meeting, I'll know that that is the agenda. Okay. So again, using the chat instead of email for agenda is interesting. And of course, that doesn't have to just be. Let me go back here. It doesn't just have to be text. That can be more richly formatted. Maybe this one needs a little image in there. Control V. Things like that. That can go in there, and all is well, right? So you're doing it wrong if you're putting your agenda in the email. You're not, but all right. And so we've got that. I'm not in the meeting yet, but I'm able to interact. And then of course, let's go ahead and finally join. And so now meeting chat is there for everyone. Okay, this is this person's in a browser version, this person's in the desktop version, which is why it looks a little different. Okay, so that's the meeting chat. And then when we're all done, let's go ahead and exit out. As I said before, during, and after. The other thing you're doing wrong is you're coming back to the email after a great meeting to tell everyone it was a great meeting and to put and summarize your notes and whatever other follow-up you want. And you're doing it wrong because even though that meeting is over, I can come back to the meeting chat and do all of that good stuff. All right. Blah, 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 blah. All right. With everyone getting and basically the conversation can continue. You may have heard another thing that is going to be useful here that you may have heard of as an upcoming feature is this, and you may or may not like this, but in the future, I'll be able to say great meeting everyone, and I'll be able to do at mention everyone, which is going to at mention everyone in this meeting chat. You may not like that, may feel like spam, but for something like this, after the fact meeting, I want to say great meeting and all this stuff. I do want to send that to everybody in the chat, just like I would have replied all to that email, which we know is wrong. So the at everyone I think is going to be useful in this case. Okay. So before, during, and after the meeting, using chat throughout, and also lurking in meetings by monitoring chat. I don't know about you, I am often double and triple booked. And to be able to see through chat what's going on in other meetings can be useful. If you have a nice colleague who likes you and wants to help you out and they're in the meeting and you're not, they may chat kind of like live tweeting what's going on in the meeting what's being said. Well, not like transcription, which is automatic in Teams, but more like being able to say at this particular time something really important got said. So all those kind of things. And of course, you can check the recording later. So anyway, hopefully I've shown you how you are doing it wrong, and using Teams is doing it right. Of course, I'm being funny and just trying to make a point there. But again, consider using Teams before considering going back to email for some of the scenarios that I just described there. All right. So that's all I got. Go ahead and finish your decaf. Finish up that last Teams chat. And enjoy the rest of your evening. Have a great start of the morning. This has been Coffee with the Cowbell.